Hey guys, it is Dan and Melissa. We're back again, and welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to you.
Thank you for having me, as always.
Yes, it's Maisel again.
Yes, this is week 3 of 4.
I know, we're already done
for
next
our
week.
series
Too
on
much.
season 4.
Season 4,
which is also the second to last season.
Yes, you're reminding us of
I just
all the
want to make
horrible
sure
things.
for anyone who didn't get to see weeks 1 and 2,
It's been announced.
what we know.
5 is coming, and that's it.
Well, based
more
on
5.
what I've been seeing people online say, because now that I'm watching them afterwards, sometimes I like to look at the buzz a little bit after I've formed my ideas. People are were for the first 4 episodes kind of panning the way it was going.
Yeah, those first couple, I was like, I hope they do something with these stories.
We've been saying we're kind of confused,
Yes.
but I feel like they really blow the whole thing out of the water in 5 and 6.
They do.
Like,
I thought 3
everything
and 4 were getting better, though.
Oh,
I thought,
yeah.
Like,
I
1 and
agree.
2 just started so... They were fine, but I was like, so many threads. Like, where are we
There
going
were a lot
here?
of threads. But I feel like here we've brought pretty much everything's being knit back together.
Yes.
So it's almost like you know those zippers that go from like one end, they like keep continuously.
Sure.
It was, you sort of started and now we're like zipping it back together.
Yeah.
So if you stopped watching because you were annoyed after 1
go
and
back.
2,
Go on back. But do that first before you watch this, because we talk spoilers, we talk all the themes, all the jokes.
Yes, we're gonna
So
let it all out.
Not all the jokes, I guess. There's too many. But
well, I mean, then you'd be here for the same amount of time as the episode plus.
Yes.
Which is kind of like some of our other
So I was
shows
gonna say
we've
some of my
done.
Connors episodes, some of my Freaks and Geeks with Joe's were like an hour and 20 minutes. We're like
Those episodes
the
were
show,
like 24
the
minutes.
show's not even. But anyway, so we're on 5 and 6 now. So 5 is called "How to Chew Quietly and Influence People," which is of course a reference to that popular book of the day. And then Maisel versus Lennon, the cut contest in number 6.
I think there were a lot of things that we've either brought up or thought about that came in to these next 2 episodes.
A couple of the things that came up, I was like, wow, Melissa pointed that out, or wow, I was hoping that would happen.
So I guess let's start with the first one.
I know. And who do we want to start with? I guess the whole thing starts with Susie. It's another sort of Susie heavy episode.
So a lot of people have said that Susie's their favorite, and I agree.
She's on my she's definitely top 2 for me.
You need both women in this show to make it work. Just Miriam, you would get annoyed.
Paladinos again. You can't have Lorelai without Rory.
Yeah, you would.
It just doesn't work.
You need the foil.
The 2 women and the back and forth is what works for the Paladinos. Which, by the way, this episode 5, one of the few not written or directed by
I
any
was
of the
just checking when you
Paladinos.
said that. I was just looking at it. I was like, oh yeah.
But I did look up those people last night, and Scott Ellis directs typically 1 episode per season.
Okay.
So he's been on board, and then Katie Fedor, I believe, has written. I don't know if she's written every season, but she's written a couple of the other episodes.
Great.
So it seems like every season they do 1 episode where they just sort of step back and.
I don't think I definitely noticed one way. I don't feel like there's a continuity change when we have that different person.
They certainly have the tone down.
We have a couple. So in this episode, we've got a few themes going on. We've got Susie trying to hire a secretary.
Right. Very funny.
We have the return of Shy Baldwin, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise to everybody.
We have Rose's matchmaking career continues.
Right.
And we have Sophie Lennon being booked on the Gordon Ford show. I think that's all the main things that we then kind of...
What about Maisel herself? We didn't really talk about her yet.
Is this the episode where the strip club is upset? I can't remember if this is where they were upset with her or if it's the next one. Again, we watched them both.
Yeah,
There's 2 a
when
week,
you watch them back to back, it does sort of blend.
tough.
I think that was 5.
Okay.
But we don't really, last episode we talked about the 3 and 4 were very strip club heavy, burlesque show. We saw a lot of her doing the opening monologues there.
We got to see a lot of TNA this time around.
Yes, that is true.
Actually, I would say less
less comedy for sure.
at the burlesque house, but I
and
think Midge
total,
has really stepped up the caliber of everything at this house, because if you look at the first few acts we've seen in the strip club in the
pretty
early
basic.
In the season, they're kind of boring. It almost reminds me, if you ever have seen The Sting, even though that takes place much earlier, it's very similar to that. Just people kind of shaking it on stage, really minimal. These ladies
now it's like production
and costumes and choreography, and that's a big deal. And I mean, I would go see it.
She stepped it up,
and that's the big complaint at the strip club, is that there's too many women in the house, but they're raking in the dough and.
Right. So really, what's the problem?
I don't know what Boise's problem is.
I guess maybe, I'm just thinking out of character here, but maybe because it's mostly for single men or married men who are trying to get away from their wives, maybe they're afraid, if there's too many women in the house, men won't want to come in because they'll be like, what if some woman knows my wife? And
they do say
I don't know.
They bring that up.
Do they say that? Okay.
They say, the men are trying to escape their wives.
Right.
Okay, don't bring your wife.
But you're getting a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, it's a business.
It's a strong
which apparently is illegal, which I didn't really.
They mentioned that I think in the 6th episode, maybe.
I didn't know. That seems odd to me.
I didn't know either, but it's 1960.
Yeah.
Different.
And they don't ship. For those of you who are nervous about necessarily watching with family, I mean, they don't show everything.
No, it's definitely much more tame than strip clubs I've been to. So
I've been with you
with.
So I mean,
well, I've been to many. I've been to
me.
For you, yeah.
I've only been to the ones.
Yeah, that was fun. But nothing like this. This is
very different.
We were saying more burlesque. I feel like last time.
They keep saying strip club, but I really do. If you're thinking it's a strip club, it's not. It's a burlesque house.
There is that showdown between Midge and her mother, I guess in episode 5, where she thinks that she is a stripper.
And she doesn't care. She's like, I'm not the stripper. It doesn't matter. It's what everyone else is going to think.
Right.
Knowing that you work there.
And she's like, they're going to think I'm funny.
It's all about the perception and the of the public, because she thinks it's going to ruin her business. When in reality, and I believe this is more episode 6.
More of the matchmaking stuff is 6.
Stuff is 6. So we'll talk about that in a second. I think the biggest thing here, besides the Sophie Lennon piece, which we'll get to, was the Shy Baldwin wedding extravaganza.
So this was a shocker to everybody. They get this invitation in the mail. She does anyway.
We knew he was getting married. So
we knew that. But the fact that she got invited surprised everybody. And Susie even thought, well, maybe they were using an outdated guest list. And so originally they're saying, well, let's not go. And then they're like, you know what? No, let's go and see what this is about. And
Stir up some trouble.
Stir up some trouble, funny. Which they certainly do. They had a Harry Belafonte impersonator come on and do one of his songs, and that was cool. Susie liked that part.
The show did.
It's actually supposed to be Harry Belafonte.
There are some other names they drop. My favorite, Jimmy Stewart's across the room.
Yeah,
supposedly we don't see any of these people.
But we do see and hear Harry Belafonte sings a song.
Who was the third person? There was another really big name. Maybe there were a couple. I just latched on to Jimmy Stewart because he was.
I can't think of it.
Was it the princess?
Oh yes, it was one of the princesses. Yeah. So we see then that Midge ends up in the bathroom with Shy Baldwin, basically confronting him about
the classic Michael Scott.
Actually, it was originated.
Let me jump out at you and
listen. I've certainly done it. We've all I feel like been there, or at least wanted to, and she did it. And
but she did it in classy Midge fashion.
Yes,
not
she wasn't
crazy
dragged down dirty.
Fashion.
Right.
I thought it was a great moment.
It started with her
honest,
saying like, "Why am I here? Like, why did you invite me?" And
he doesn't say. We find out in a few minutes for another creepy walk down the hallway bit.
Right.
This is the second time this season that being marched down the hall for
That's
unknown
right.
reasons.
Yes, they're always being
Poor
marched.
Susie. Susie's been on both of those. She's really there it's a gag order. It's a,
right.
NDA.
So Shy actually is kind of just as shocked as she is that she's there because he didn't know.
Do you think he knows that all these people are there for that? I mean, she's not the only one.
I don't believe so.
I really do think that it's all these
Yes.
people. There's about 10 people in this room of, legal people, and his whole team is gone. The band is gone. Reggie's gone, which I was really shocked by.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He's not even, I know why. Sterling K. Brown probably didn't want to come back to this episode.
Listen, the guy's got enough going on. We know that.
But the fact that, Reggie not at the wedding?
Yeah.
Seems really suspect. It's all put on, the whole thing.
Well, clearly, he's gay, and, obviously that's what you did. That's what you did in the 60s.
He needs a beard.
Remember Liberace sued people for saying he was gay, sued the magazines.
This is it. You're seeing it play out. It's just not it's Shy Baldwin.
Shy Baldwin. So, so they get Susie and Midge in the room and say, look, we will give you $2,000 to walk away, never speak of Shy Baldwin in private or in public again. First of all, in private, come on. How can you?
I don't know how. I guess if they find out that someone knew,
right? I guess if it leaks, they could sue. They turn down that money. Midge turns down all of the offers up to $10,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say it goes up to $10,000.
Which I don't know.
I think I would have taken it. I think I would have taken it at $5 probably.
Think about
because she is so we don't really know.
Destitute.
But they're
in
debt.
Point. Like
she is. Holding on to this stupid apartment.
In episode 6, Sophie kind of goes over the litany of the different debts.
We really got to hear. We knew all of these debts,
right? But to hear them put out
them all at
right
once,
in a row. But again, we'll get back to Sophie. But yeah, I feel like think about $10,000 in that time period.
Well, and Susie does. The writers are great about making us understand as the audience what that really means. She's like. That's several cars.
She's like, that's 3 cars or one nice German car.
Or one really nice car.
Yeah.
So think about what that is. That's a year's salary.
Yeah.
Now.
Midge says no.
And Midge says no. And Midge has already said no in the bathroom. Midge has apologized. She said no in the bathroom.
And, okay, wait, I want to go back to that. Because what you said was, she was, like, being classy, Midge. I really liked that sort of speech that she gave him, or the back and forth even.
She was finally grounded.
Yeah. Well, it was closure for her.
Yes.
It was, look, if you had asked me, on the plane what I would have said, I would have apologized, and I would have said I felt horrible, but I was following Mom's Mabley, and I didn't know what to do, and I was scared.
I didn't want her to blame Reggie, but I almost wanted to say,
it was kind of Reggie's fault.
You kind of put the idea in her head.
Right.
She doesn't say that, which I think is classic.
No, and that's, I don't know if I would have held that information back, but...
I know. It was a lot of...
But of course, Reggie's, like you said, not even there, so maybe he's already out of the picture, so why throw him under the bus at this
so
point?
I guess they've already paid him off because they know he can't control Shy.
Right.
He's got this team behind him, and we see him at the very end after she turns down all this money. He's out smoking a cigarette, and just the sad look on his face is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because he knows... they've said they're going to keep him on a short leash. That is his whole romantic sexual life. That's it. They just shut it down.
That's what
they
had to
own
do.
him now.
Yeah, so that's what you had to do.
It's the career or this. And
you choose career or you choose love.
And
that's sad.
It's really it's heartbreaking.
This is what they did, and.
And so I don't know how serious he was when he says, maybe when I'm back in town, let's go for a drink, and she goes, no.
Yeah, we're not friends.
We aren't friends, and I understand that now.
And that's also sad for him, because he really will have no friends.
No, and he'll have nobody who knows the truth.
Right.
So you're really living in this.
Yeah.
I guess closet's the word.
That's the choice.
That's the word. I'm gonna start crying.
No, well, it's very sad for all of us. But that's what people had to do. So, All right, so that's it for Shy, but I'm glad they brought it back. I'm so glad they brought it back. What closure for us?
Beautiful closure, like, and they did it so nicely, like in a way that we had comedy, we had emotion, we got. I mean, they wrapped up every detail that you were asking about because we didn't bring back when she was like, we didn't bring back the band. Liza Wheel, is that how you pronounce her name?
Yes, love her.
Who I love. Gilmore Girls,
yep.
As well, and Scandal as well. If you're not a Gilmore Girls fan, she was a huge part of that. I don't know what she's doing right now. I don't know if that was just hey, we're not bringing them back because we're doing this, or if this was a different choice. But I'm sure that as a band member, they all knew he went on those benders and things. Of
course,
and
right? How could you not?
If they didn't know everything, they knew enough about the scandals.
Yeah.
So, that's
really pretty much episode 5. Well, the secretary stuff, funny.
Very cute.
Susie trying to get a secretary.
She has
this woman
no
comes
idea.
in. No idea how to even go about
interviewing
someone. Right.
Asking questions. She's
no clue.
Reading the book, which again you said was the reason about the how to chew quietly and influence people.
Yep, love that.
Was it how to succeed in business?
It's how to influence. There's something how to succeed in business and influence people or something like that. Yeah, is the real book.
But she gets advice about have someone eat something, and she basically
because you're gonna have to chew, right? You're gonna have to chew with them all day. Yeah,
it was very funny.
But she gets back after the whole day, the wedding, I guess, and this nice African American girl sitting there, and she's like, "I've been here for 7 hours, 7 hours, whatever, waiting," and she's like, "Okay, you're hired," like because obviously she's got stick-to-itiveness and all of these good qualities if you're going to sit there all day completely polite and whatever. And we see in episode 6 really how amazing she is.
She's great. She is bringing all this family with her. Like she's watching children while she's doing this, but she's so good at what she does. It doesn't matter. Susie's like, what the heck is all of this? Yeah. And she's like, I'm on it. And she literally,
Susie's trying in episode 6 to get a hold of Joel, and she can't remember the name of the club, the name of the bar, anything. Even really what street it's on, nothing. So she's trying to get from the operator, and she knows nothing. She's like, I can't give you the names
spend all the time like trying to find every club in Chinatown.
So all she says is, I'm looking for this club owned by Midge's husband. And within 30 seconds, Joel Maisel on line 1, and she's like, I didn't even tell you his name. Like, how'd you do it?
It's very funny. It's very funny. Alfie the Magician is basically living in the office space as well. He's quite the disaster.
Quite a disaster. Drunk.
He hasn't really. He's working on his act. She books him with Joel. He's a no-show.
Yeah.
And then where is she trying to book him?
Well, she finds him. I don't know, but she does find him. She doesn't actually say a specific place. I assume that she's just going to convince Joel to let him come back.
Do it again? Okay.
Because it's Joel, and she even says, like, he's Joel, I'll take care of him.
So that's not finished.
No, that
doesn't wrap up. It goes a little farther, but we get to hear Susie talk about herself and how she has an eye for these things. And I mean, we were really amazed in the bar with the different things he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
And she does list off a bunch of the different things he does, including hypnotism, which is what you said.
Which is what I was thinking.
You got a good one in there.
I got that one.
What else is going on?
Yeah, that's really what the
that's kind of
sort of the arc. So let's talk about Sophie. Because she factors in very much in both of these episodes, specifically episode 6. It's even in the title, but
I can't believe with all Jane Lynch's being in these 2 episodes and the previous episodes, she's not. And you said she's not listed. As credited.
No, not in the credits. Isn't that weird?
It's so bizarre. She's just really got. I mean, there are no episodes without her.
I think maybe we've had one, but that was it.
All right, well, there's no storyline.
No storylines without her, that's for sure. Yeah, so in episode 5, we have her going on to this talk show, which they have to convince the person, the talent booker, whatever, at dinner. But Sophie really, really wants Susie to represent her, and Susie does not want to do this. So they go and meet this guy, and she's like, look, who'd you have on your show last night? Oh, so-and-so. Oh, well, he hawked his movie and he told a couple of, pithy anecdotes, whatever. That's the same as every night. Let me give you Sophie. Let me, let her tell you her story. Let her be funny. Let her be herself.
And it's all the late night, or I guess it's not. They're not on late.
No, it's not on like a Johnny Carson.
But that's kind of what it was. But I don't think they showed things that late.
No, what it was regular prime time. Like your Ed Sullivans and your whatevers were on at 9:00, and then at the very end, and she actually mentions Jack Parr.
Yeah,
later,
so this is a fictional.
This is
Tonight Show. They're calling this gentleman
called Gordon Ford. Who's played by our friend Reed Scott from Veep.
Yes, I was like, oh, it's the guy from Veep.
Yes, we love him.
Very funny.
He plays the talk show host. And so she goes on this show.
And she's normal.
Not only is she normal, she's completely hilarious. I mean, it reminded me, and I'm sure it was written this way, of some of the famous, people going on a talk show after an incident. Hugh Grant on The Tonight Show, Lindsay Lohan on Ellen, where they sort of talk about things and they're funny about it. And yeah, this did not happen in 1960 for sure.
And I will say it was so enjoyable. Like I was I was on the edge of my seat. I wanted to be like, I was with the audience there.
And it's funny, you mentioned last time that you don't particularly care for her stand-up stuff, and that's because of that character.
Yes.
That she did do for a second when the audience asked for it, but
she was unable to turn it off.
But she was able to turn it off. Yeah, like this persona that she had on the stage was always the same, And yeah, it's a bit hackneyed,
Well, and it's the same joke over and over again. Pretty much.
Hey, my husband, it's very Phyllis Diller, kind of thing, which I personally like. But yes, they made her very one note.
I think I don't identify with it very well because I've gone to see some comedians who, and I don't want to put names out there or anything on this, but people who speak to my ethnic background.
Sure.
And it's the same joke over and over again.
Right.
And I'm laughing it up. So
yeah.
I just don't think I'm the audience.
It's not right. It's not for you. But on this talk show, completely charming, funny as hell.
And she's not herself, which I guess I can't tell what to put. I guess
what is herself? We don't know.
Crazy, rich. Narcissist.
Yeah, she has like a bodyguard.
She had nobody at this point, and she
right when she went on the show,
yeah.
But this was all sort of because she had already. We learned this in the last episodes. She already had this sort of kind of offer to do a game show for NBC,
right?
But she wanted to get her name out there in a different light before she did that, or before they would let her do that, or whatever. And this was a huge hit. And then it turns out, after the fact, they only want people with a story, because Susie in episode 6 tries to get Midge on the show, and he's like, "Well, what's her angle? DUI."
I didn't actually understand that when we were watching. That makes so much more sense now.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't. What's
basically, it was such a huge boon for the show, for the Gordon Ford. And it actually reminded me of like Ricki Lake used to when she had her talk show.
See, I thought you were going to say. Now I can't think of it. I thought
Phil Donahue.
No.
Who is it?
Is it John? What's his first name? Cavett. Dick Cavett.
Oh, Dick Cavett.
I thought you were going to bring up that. You're going.
Oh, I'm going a little newer because it's what I know. But
I know, but
like when Ricki Lake first started, she wanted to do more like heavy hitting, like Oprah, and then all of a sudden she did a show about something crazy, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, this is the show now.
Well, and I think that's what a lot of those 90s shows,
because they had to stand out somehow.
Maury used to be so,
now it's paternity test only.
That's it. That's all it is. Who's your father?
Every day. But yeah, so at this time, this was, of course, unheard of. You went on, you talked about your movie or your album, and that was it.
I think it's interesting because the late night style of show like that kind of, show has gone back to the promote your movie.
Oh yeah.
Quick anecdote that they're already set up for. This is what you've agreed to talk about. We know that that's what you've agreed to. It's just very.
I don't care for.
And then they usually play some kind of stupid
forced. Game. Yes, if it's Fallon, they always play a game. which is fine. But yes,
I don't stay up that
different
late,
scene
so
for sure.
I don't get to watch all the time.
Yeah,
so
but
maybe there's more, but no, there's no deep heavy hitting and
yeah. I mean, I can't think of too many people. Even when the big deal with when Trump went on the Tonight Show and he was running for president. Jimmy like tousled his hair and so cute. It's like, dude, what are we doing here? So anyway, yes, but Sophie Lennon, huge hit on the talk show.
And apparently huge hit on her.
And then now she has the seconds count, which is what was the design?
It looked. I mean, it's password.
Password. It was password.
It's password, but not the game. The game.
But the setup. The game is trivia, and the person I guess has to. Yeah, they ask for a certain number of seconds, and then they have to name. Now we're game show people.
We're game people.
We're game people.
I was trying to play along.
For me, this game show didn't quite work because they give you a time. He had like 36 seconds on the clock or something. He's like, okay, I'll take 16 seconds. You don't know what the category is. So she's like, all right, in 16 seconds, name as many states starting with M or C as you can. It's funny he forgot Colorado because that was the first one I thought of. But then they start doing like bits during the game. So they stop the clock for that, I guess.
Password, it's all famous people.
Right. It's a famous person.
Is there also a real person?
Yeah, I think there was a real person with them, like sort of playing
so
with
it's
them,
all there.
It's
that people want the comedy as part of the. I don't care about that in my game shows. That's why I'm a Jeopardy devotee here.
I mean, listen, the show she does on NBC, the Celebrity Game Night, that could be funny.
I don't mind that. I think it's the games they play though.
But
name a certain amount of things
serious,
in seconds. I don't think that they're going to just lose, and I don't know.
Well, it's like, listen, Hollywood Squares. When there was a Simpson episode with Hollywood Squares, that was Match Game. The Ugly Parlor was Match Game.
No. When you said you said Hollywood Squares. I was thinking Pyramid.
Pyramid.
Joey.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Things that are white.
No, but Hollywood Squares, they always have like the people that do they tell the stupid joke before they give the real answer.
Yeah,
that's
fine.
It's
that's
so
fine. And I think
it's the shtick.
They have time to do that. That makes it's not a timed show. That's the style.
I don't mind this game show as a show, but it's the time-wise of it is like, well, you're telling jokes and not giving answers. So
and I really think the funniest part of all of this is how much her parents love. And
oh my God, they're obsessed with this
it's
show.
So funny,
and
Sophie's
Midge,
so
of course,
funny.
hates Sophie.
She is incensed. And I think the interesting thing is, I don't think that she necessarily didn't think she was funny before all of this.
Right.
And she originally was like, "Oh, Sophie."
Oh yeah, she was like, "Oh, you're my hero."
And then she kind of saw through the facade. She
saw more of the real woman
and everything. Who's that? The wizard.
Yeah, that's Wizard of Oz.
She I think that. But so now she knows the truth.
So Sophie comes to her.
Why doesn't she think that it's
she
funny
hates
anymore?
It. She hates it because she hates her, I guess.
Yeah.
So Sophie shows up at her place because she's been trying to get Susie to agree to be her mentor, her manager, whatever.
Yes, she wants her back.
And Susie says, "No."
Susie was burned
this.
completely.
And so Sophie comes to Midge's place, has the maid in stitches.
All the
friends,
maids.
all the maids,
all the help is in the room as she's putting on a show.
And she says, "Look, I want you to be my opening comic because I want Susie back, and you are my way there."
It's gonna be a great salary.
Yep, great salary.
Gonna give her a fridge because the fridge is broken, and none of the Weissmans know that when the light's out, the fridge is broken. These people are just.
You know what? To be honest, I don't know if I would have known that. No, I guess she's probably in her 30s, but I don't know. Would I have known what that meant? I would have thought the light bulb was out, but I would have thought.
That too. I would, but I don't know.
That I would have thought the fridge was broken, but. Who knows?
And doesn't her mother says there's a light in the it just I don't know.
She didn't know either.
Just being ridiculous.
But you'll never have to see me. You can pay off all your bills within a year. You just warm up the crowd. Give them the rules in the studio. Tell a couple jokes.
Couldn't believe she didn't jump at it immediately, but she hates her so much.
The pride of this woman, though, it's she has her pride. Shy Baldwin, and she sort of does that.
Pride goes before the fall. Isn't that the saying?
I guess so. I've not heard that, but
or maybe I have
don't
the
hate
wrong.
it.
Maybe I have the wrong saying.
I don't hate that saying,
Something
but I
like
don't
that.
know it.
We'll figure it out.
But yeah, she's got all this pride. She doesn't want to give up on that. And it's like, okay, that's fine, but you are broke right now.
All right.
You know, this is a well-paying job for NBC, you know, a network.
That's what I'm like,
come on
I'm like,
here.
take it. You're gonna,
Yes.
you don't have to see her.
Yeah.
Which we find out in it.
Many comedians, by the way, started out as, you know, warm-up acts, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, Brad Garrett was one, many people. So, at the time, I guess, who knew, but...
Sorry, all I'm thinking about is Tom Arnold pretending to warm
don't do it.
in Roseanne, where we've already seen him be a different character.
That was so stupid. I can't.
So long.
I can't.
That's all I can think of when we're talking about warming up the crowd.
Yeah,
sorry.
you're right.
That's sorry.
Paladinos again.
I wonder if that's
They probably had nothing to do with that episode, but yeah. So anyway, so we finally get to that point. She convinces Susie that yes, I'm going to do this. I love, by the way, when she's on the phone with Susie, there's pigeons on the balcony just hanging out.
Yeah. She was like, I bet she's.
It's just such a classic Susie.
Was this when she's yelling on the phone? There's one.
No, this is when there was a lot of silence on the phone because she's so stunned that.
Well, she yells on the phone at one point, and I was dying. I think I woke the baby up because I was holding the baby and trying to watch the show.
Yeah, what? Who was? That was with Sophie, I think. I think it was when Sophie was trying to get her back.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's very funny. Go
Very
watch
funny.
that part.
So anyway, so she does the warm up.
And she's great.
She's great. The crowd
As
loves
usual.
her. She's so funny. However, she's getting too many laughs for
Sophie goes out there to check it out. And this is...
The jealousy rages.
This is the thing. The two of them, it's like the same person with two different acts.
I know.
And it's just...
So
because if you think about, you know, Midge with all her highfalutin uppity ways,
right.
and you've got Sophie's... whatever you want to call that.
Neither
act. One of them know how to do anything, apparently.
Right. Hell, given that, so they kept it pretty clean. Because Susie's whole thing was, you can't say tease on the thing.
They say, what is it,
they say,
ass at the
they
end?
say ass, they say S, I think, once.
And that's the...
and that's sort of the breaking point where the producer comes in. But yeah, so that's
well,
what
they
this
end the show that way.
episode is Maisel versus Lenny, the cut contest.
Are we going to...
The audience does not like it.
No.
The audience starts out loving it. Oh, now we've got two great comedians. But then when they start cutting each other up, the audience is like, ooh, it's very uncomfortable.
And I think the audience is so loyal to Sophie. Midge is getting canned, don't you think?
I think after this, yes.
I don't think she's going to have this job, unfortunately, because we keep talking about, you know, where is this...
Right.
How much farther could she fall, and... where's the upswing going to be?
To go back to Roseanne, this is like that season where Roseanne did like a different job every 3 episodes. Like she kept switching jobs. Like I feel like, you know,
that season 2 with the
might have been 2 after Wellman,
the plastic factory.
But yeah, I think you're right because it was before then the mall restaurant. So we see that obviously Susie's trying to get Midge on network television for a slot that doesn't work out. But right, I mean, I think she's probably fired from this gig.
Oh, and the other thing that she had said, which we didn't bring up, which was something that we had talked about in our first episode, Sophie says she's going to call off Elroy Dunham, who we see.
Yes, who we find out is a woman.
Which I was not surprised at. Were you?
I actually was.
Oh, no. I thought from the beginning.
You thought it was a woman?
I thought it was a woman because of the fact that we were using an initial.
Oh, I didn't put that together.
I totally was like, this is some woman we're going to see later. You said seeing later, and I was like, oh yeah, why would we plant this in this episode if we're not going to see it later?
Yeah, because I mentioned that last time. I was like, where's all the newspaper stuff been?
Right, so we find the clippings panning her.
Hari Neff plays her from...
I looked her up.
I know her from Transparent.
I didn't know... I didn't know her at all, but I was like, wow.
Yeah, she hasn't done a ton of things, but she's...
18 things so far?
She's
very
done
short list.
A handful of things. I know her best from Transparent.
Okay.
She was on, I think, the first couple of seasons of that.
Is she trans?
She is not trans, but she is a big LGBTQ supporter, so...
That's kind of why I looked her up, because I was like, this person...
I don't know.
I
wasn't sure.
I was kind of confused.
Yeah.
I think she just has, so my husband has a very high voice. She has a very sort of masculine way of talking.
Yeah.
Was what it was kind of throwing me.
So, right, here's another Midge sort of goes to confront a lot of confrontations in these couple of episodes. So she goes to confront and learns it's a woman, and I like the initial exchange there where she thinks it's a receptionist, and that was funny. But then basically she's saying, look,
this is a hard business.
No press is bad press. I'm getting your name in the papers, and she's like, well, not in the way that I want. Stop writing about me. And she says, no, we're good there. Like, I'm gonna keep writing about you.
Yeah. Well, and I think that that's Midge getting a little bit of her own medicine. She's gonna keep talking about people,
right?
Even if they don't want to be talked about.
Yep.
That's why she wants to do her own shtick, and it's literally comedian versus press, but it's the same story.
Right.
It's a woman in a man's world, and what do you have to do?
Yeah, she talks about
get ahead,
being a woman in journalism, and
so I honestly didn't feel for Midge here at all.
No, me neither.
I was like, you know what? Yeah, your name is out there,
right?
And you don't really necessarily deserve one way or the other here.
Like, okay, so let's go back for a second to episode 5 with Lenny Bruce, because the episode sort of starts out with him.
That's 6.
Oh, that's 6. Okay. With him sort of waking up there, and I found you passed out on the street.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to go somewhere.
I think that's going somewhere too.
And
he's like, this is not my town. This is, not my kind of scene. I don't want to be woken up by your kids, whatever. But, there's a comic who was always sort of in the paper for maybe not great things, and not that his comedy was reviewed poorly, but he was always getting his name in the paper for, some more negative things, I guess. And sure enough, he became pretty famous,
So Lenny Bruce is one of our only characters who is a real person who has a recurring
Did you look up if he has kids, by the way? Because I think I forgot.
I think, yes, he has one kid.
Okay.
And I did know that ahead of time. I didn't look up to see if it was a daughter, like he says, but
because he mentioned that, and I was like, how
daughter Kitty Bruce.
Okay, and I was like, I figured that was
55. So she's there's this 1960,
60.
So she's 5.
Yeah.
I was curious. I couldn't remember when he passed away. I knew it was in the 60s, and I didn't know if this was some kind of setup. He was 40, because they have to get rid of him for the timeline to work. But it says here 66.
Okay,
so I don't think we're unless there's some kind of huge. I mean, they already had to kind of, because of having to take such a long hiatus for filming.
Yeah,
we had to change the kid. We didn't really change the kids' ages.
No,
he's 5, but this child obviously is not 5.
Like 8.
But he's in like the short pants, and talking about kindergarten.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're gonna see some kind of big jump, or if we're just gonna not see him, because they do only take pictures of him in passing and far away and behind things. They don't need the kids for the show. It's not not part of
about
it,
the kids really,
but
I do think Lenny Bruce might be going somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an example of somebody who's always in the news for negative things and had a great career.
I'm really kind of sad about the way it sort of played out, because he left her very angry. And I know that people online are like shipping them, and we're like, and I mean, you and I know that that's not really very realistic. And I don't think it's going to happen, but and I'm sorry for using the word shipping.
I know. I was like, God, what have we done? What are we? There was a show, by the way. You know how I do all the TV shows? There was a show on the CW like 2 years ago called I Ship It. And I literally, as I was like starting to watch it, I thought, I had heard the term before, okay?
Yes.
I thought it was going to be this show about like getting stuff on eBay and like shipping it out. Like, I
wasn't sure which way you were going. I thought I was going to say, are you going where you thought it was going to be about relationships?
Yeah, no.
Or was it actually a show about shipping? Because isn't there a Shipping Wars show?
I think there is, and I guess that's what made me think of that. But I'd heard that term shipping, but yeah, all right. Anyway, so listen, we got to get back on track here to the matchmaking stuff, because we have not talked about that yet. But in 6, that's a pretty big thing. We had a great scene with some people that we love.
Yes,
around this table.
So to set this up, the reason why we're even having this meet that we're going to talk about is there is a very wealthy family who have very ugly old daughters and they've tried to hire
what's her name? Yeah, Midge's
Rose.
mom. Rose, yeah.
It's like, not Midge.
Yeah.
That's not her name. Rose as their matchmaker. And I've been wondering, kind of from the beginning, like, she's doing really well. There's got to be some other
there's got to be some hitch.
And it didn't occur to me when they said, oh, we're going to have this meeting with the small business women, although when they said Brighton Beach, having watched a lot of Law and Order, nothing good ever, like...
Is that right?
Well, so a lot of, and I don't want to, it's always like the Russian mob is in Brighton Beach.
Okay.
Because it's a Russian neighborhood.
Yes. Oh, by the way, pause that thought for a second, because I did write down, it was very timely when Midge was talking about in Seconds Count, when she was doing the warm-up. Yes. There was a red light, and she's like, oh, when that red light goes on, that means, the show's recording, so stop. Or that the Russians are attacking us. And I thought, oh my God, timely to put that on today.
That's a lot.
Holy moly.
I'm sure that was written so far
I'm
past,
sure that was written a year ago or more.
Not,
yeah. So, anyway, when you said Russian, I remembered that I wrote that down. But anyway, so yes, Russian, or the Small Business Women's Association. So she goes and learns that, in fact, it's all these heavy-hitting matchmakers that all have their own territories. And we have some very famous people here in our universe.
I mean, our biggest name here is the head of the group. Yes. Benedetta is played by Kelly Bishop.
Grandmother on Gilmore Girls / mother to Lorelai. That's where I know her most from, but she's done many things back to, of course, Dirty Dancing.
I know her first from Dirty Dancing, which it's so amazing to me to see some of these actresses who have had these long careers and are still working and are still doing so well in all these roles. And I'm like, as long as you don't get stuck in that ingenue,
right.
And that's all you can do, you can really have quite the longevity.
In fact, I just watched a movie yesterday called Queen Bees, and it's all of these elder actresses in a retirement home. It's Ellen Burstyn, Anne Margaret, Jane Curtin from SNL. And it was just like, wow, like these ladies are still like doing it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
Into their 80s. So,
I mean,
we had Kelly Bishop, love her.
Then we have the Jewish matchmaker. Gitta is Jackie Hoffman. I didn't know her.
That's
from
the one. The other one
things.
I recognize, but what do I know her from?
She was in Birdman. Which I think might have been what I recognized her from.
Okay.
But she's in a lot of things. Oh, Only Murders in the Building.
Only Murders in the Building,
just watched.
which I recently watched.
That was the other thing.
That's, I guess, probably what I know her the most from.
I think where I was those two, but I watched Feud, Bet and Joan.
I did not.
She
was part of Gilmore. That's
Gilmore
right.
Girls, 2 episodes of that. She does a lot of one-off episodes.
Yeah, I was going to say.
A lot.
Okay.
I mean, there are a lot of just
Good Wife, of course,
again,
my show.
Yes, and they were all like one episode.
But Only Murders, I guess, is where I recently know her from.
Where you would see her.
And then...
we had the Harlem...
Patrice Johnson.
Yes, Patrice Johnson.
I didn't really recognize her.
I watch Evil.
Oh, she is on Evil. Yeah,
and Evil is that's a Paramount Now Plus show.
Used to be CBS, yeah.
Which I enjoy. And then the last one, who I think this is who we
I
both...
didn't even recognize this woman.
I did. Marceline, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Hugo.
Or
that's
Hugo, maybe?
I think it's got to be Hugo.
I think it's Hugo.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
I didn't recognize her.
The thing she's most famous for is actually, I guess she's also in Ozark and New Amsterdam.
People do
some
love
things.
Ozark.
But she's in
Kathy
Geiss. But Kathy Geiss on
30 Rock.
On 30 Rock, she's in 12 episodes.
Where she doesn't even speak. So I didn't even occur to me it was her.
Well, no, she's using an Irish accent in this episode, which was very sweet.
Yeah, she's the Irish matchmaker.
It was very cute. I love the way she spoke.
All right, so already we've hit longer than any of our other episodes.
I know.
So is there anything else we haven't hit?
The thing that surprised me the most.
Okay.
So Joel and May were going to
the whole parents thing again. Yes.
Introduce her to his parents. She bails, and we see her towards the end-ish of the second episode of this week. And she comes in
at the bar, I guess, right? Where they're waiting for the magician.
Club, and she needs to talk to Joel in the back room. And she is a bombshell to lay on him, and I'm not usually surprised. I was
this was quite the bomb. She's pregnant.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So she's not going anywhere.
So she is here to stay, and
unless they decide to do some kind of illegal abortion story, which I think is going to be a little heavy for a comedy show. I don't know. But I mean, I don't believe it is legal at this point.
No, I guess it's not.
She is studying to be a doctor. She wants to be a doctor.
And she keeps saying, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a doctor to convince herself.
They can definitely go that way. It's super timely.
That was a bomb.
But I can go a lot of ways, but they don't I don't feel like they tend to go dark when they have the opportunity to. Like, they go almost there. Yeah. And then they pull us back.
I think, was this the last scene of the whole...
No. The last scene was the comedic showdown, which
I
was originally going to end
Why Can't We Be Friends?
I think this is the biggest, let me drop it on you. Everything else I saw coming somewhere along the way, or we've hinted at it, or we've been questioning. The Lenny Bruce thing actually was surprising too.
That was a surprise.
I did not think that was going to go badly. The Shy Baldwin thing, it wasn't a surprise necessarily. I was just glad it happened. Yeah. And I'm glad it happened the way it could have gone a lot of ways. There. But
these are great episodes.
I thought these two were really strong. Yeah. I do recommend watching them together. I felt very archy.
Yeah, I like the way that they're putting out 2 a week. Because really, look, it's a movie. I mean, an hour and 50 minutes. That's a movie. Yeah. So you get a movie of Maisel every week. Until next week, and that's it.
Exactly. Because I think neither one really... I don't want to say they don't... I mean, they stand alone fine, but after the first one, where she's jumping at... Midge jumps out of the cab, and you don't know why she's jumping out of a cab. Yeah. Turns out it's for Lenny on the side of the road. Right. I didn't... that was a surprise. I didn't know. I didn't know either. I mean, once we were back at the house,
that's the thing.
You knew exactly.
Episode 5 was a lot of the let's set this up, and then episode 6 was a lot of the payoff for those things. Yes. So it does work really to watch these two together more than I think any of the other pairs this season.
Well, I think even these other pairs, because they had to set up each of these different things that we've now seen over the first 4 episodes. Right. So everything has been leading to these two, and now they're going to have to wrap up and then set up for
season 5 final.
5. I don't know why I keep thinking
because we want 6. We want 6 out of it.
Well, and so many things have 6.
Yes. All right. Well, that's it. We've hit all the main marks here. Any predictions? Well, I think we're correct. I think Midge is done at seconds count. Okay. As a result,
do you think
I don't know if we're going to see much more of Sophie in these last 2 episodes. She's obviously still going to try to get at Susie, but having Midge fired from the show isn't going to get in Susie's good graces.
I don't know if she's going to have her fired.
Oh, you think the producers are going to let her go?
That whole thing is going... They were all out there. People saw it. It's not a secret.
I guess that's true.
I think she might get fired from her own
from
stupidity.
Her own show.
Because she could have just stepped back.
Right.
That Sophie came out and she could have just walked away. She could have said, ladies and gentlemen, here you go. Yes. Because, again, it is Sophie's fault because she said she would not be out there at all. Yeah. And, it was a shame.
What else?
The
pregnancy, sure.
The pregnancy, talk about that. Yeah, we don't know what's going on there.
Don't know what's going on there. I think they're going to have it, though.
I kind of do too.
I do too.
I think she's going to continue. I do feel, and I'm not sure if it was maybe the pregnancy. I was going to say that the actress felt very overacty at first in the first 2 episodes. More like she seemed.
I don't love her as an actress. She's
What I know her from besides?
I don't know, but I don't think she can keep up necessarily with these people.
I got to look up the rest of this. I got to look up more about her for next week. I felt that she had done fine in the earlier episodes, and she felt very natural. And I felt even from the first second she was on in episode 5, I was like, this feels forced and awkward. And maybe it was the pregnancy thing, and so she'll become more normal again, but I didn't care for the portrayal.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she can hang with the rest of these actors. I think that might be the issue. But
I think we're going to see we'll see more of her. So. More of Alfie. Yeah. I think we might see more of Elroy Dunham now.
Yes, I think we'll see more of Elroy. I think we'll see more of the Magician. We got to see where that story goes.
That's Alfie.
Alfie, I'm sorry.
Yes. And then is Rose's career as a matchmaker over?
Yeah, good question.
Because
they need the money for sure.
They need the money, and I kind of wanted to see what happens with these two girls? And they set up a whole little universe.
Yeah, it'd be weird if they just sort of let that go because of this business meeting.
It was a lot to just sort of drop.
I think the Maisels are fighters. I think she will go in and keep doing her thing, and then we'll see what happens, I guess.
But yeah, that's all.
That's it.
I got.
Hopefully more of Moish. We barely saw him on the phone once.
Yeah, it was a really. Oh, I know. There were two things that we wanted to. There was one thing from this episode and one.
Oh,
from
that's
last
right.
week.
You had mentioned.
So last week, when we were doing Tupperware.
Yes.
Go check out the finale. I believe one of the ladies is all dressed in Tupperware at the burlesque
at her show. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if Mitch sold it to her.
Yeah, which I didn't pick up on, but you had mentioned that over text.
Secondly, when we do see Imogene, Abe is going to write a book. He does not want to type his own book.
Right.
And he is trying Imogene out. And I knew before he even did it that he was going to call her Dodie. Did you?
I didn't, but I wasn't surprised.
As soon as
great.
he did it, and I was like, yes!
I
mean, I love these little callback jokes from so far away.
Seasons ago.
Dodie was Miriam's friend, and he just called all her friends that.
Right.
And I love it.
Yeah, I had forgotten all about that, so I didn't think it was going to happen, but yeah.
So this is our new thing. He's done the Village Voice. He hasn't been fired. But it sounds like he's going to write something.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was kind of freelance there anyway. So,
okay. Maybe he's still... But
I think he's still kind of involved in that, but yeah. But all right. Yes, thank you for joining. And thank you all for watching. I know this was a little bit longer than most, but guess what? Next week's the finale, so that's probably going to be even longer.
Yeah.
A lot of
get
things to wrap
up. So you get a snack and something to
sit down with us and hang for the hour. But yeah, we'll see everybody next time. Bye.